Okay, so we're going to talk about the cerebrum. Remember, I told y'all a little bit about it already. We're going to go ahead and talk about the landmarks and everything. So, all of this right here, I'm going to show you on a picture. So, we have two pictures right here on Plus Portal. Oh, good, that's not it, but I'm going to get there. Okay. This is one that shows the whole brain on the outside. Again, this is the lateral um, left view of the brain. Here's the cerebellum down here. And this all is the cerebrum. Okay. So this picture right here is just the cerebrum itself. Don't get hung up in all of this. We're going to talk about some of this, but if you don't know what it is, you're good to go. If I talk about it, you need to know it. Okay? Got it? Okay. So let's see what we've got right here. Okay, the brain has two sides. Okay. It's the right and left. It's a series of hills and valleys, and the hills are called gyruses, and the valleys right in here are called sulci or solstices. They're plural and singular, gyrus, gyri, and then solstice, sulci. And this right here is a main solstice, and this is the central solstice. There's also this divides the frontal lobe, which is all of this orange from here, from the central solstice to here, is the frontal lobe. From the central solstice going in posteriorly, this is the parietal lobe. Okay, right here is the lateral solstice. The lateral solstice divides the temporal lobe, which is blue right in here, from the parietal and from the frontal. There's also the occipital lobe back here. Sorry, the occipital lobe has the parietal occipital solstice that divides it from the parietal lobe itself. Also, there is another lobe. We have so far four: frontal, parietal, occipital, temporal. If I separate out the lateral solstice right here and look underneath it, I'm going to see another lobe that is separate that is called the island of Ryle or the insula. So I think I hit everything that's on Word. Word. So let's go back and see if I've got everything. So we know what gyruses are. Solstice. A fissure is a deep groove, and the longitudinal fissure is what separates it right here. That makes it have two hemispheres. The longitudinal fissure goes all the way down this side until it hits this, the corpus callosum. The corpus callosum is actually what connects the two hemispheres together. The two hemispheres of the cerebrum are only connected at the corpus callosum. Okay. The five lobes, like I said, the frontal has in between that and the parietal, the central solstice. It also has the pre and post central gyrus. So let's go back and look at that. Here is the post central gyrus, called because it's behind the central solstice, and in front of the central solstice is the pre-central gyrus. This is where sensory processes are sent to be processed, and then they go to the precentral for the motor response to be coordinated and sent out. So you can see the precentral is the primary motor area to be sent out, and postcentral is the primary somatosensory area. So it's sort of like the spinal cord. The back door you go in, and the front door you go out to send a response. Like I said, the temporal is below the lateral solstice. The occipital is toward the posterior aspect of the brain. And then you have the insula or the island of Ryle, which you have to look under the lateral cerebral fissure to see. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the limbic system, and the limbic system is really fascinating. It is a ring of structures that is not only the cerebrum, but also involves the brainstem, the corpus callosum, the diencephalon, and the floor of the base of the brain. This is actually a picture of the ring. You probably talked about it in psychology. This is how things stay in our memory. It literally loops around. And if you look, it really is tied into the olfactory lobes. These are the olfactory lobes right here. So a lot of times smells are very associated with memories. Memories, you know how you sort of get things locked in your head and you can't get them out? It's because they sort of circle around this limbic system. So when you think about the limbic system, think about your emotional brain. Think about how memory is so emotional. If you go back and you think about your first memory that you remember, it's probably tied into a strong emotion also. Most things that we remember for a long time is hooked into an emotion. Like think about how you can remember movies and things that they wear or what happened because you were emotionally invested in that movie. So it controls an overall pattern of behavior and memory. How we react to smells, even, is tied up to memories. I hate that smell because of a memory, or I love that smell a lot of times because of a memory also. Okay, I'm going to start the sensory areas and talk about those whenever we go into the next series. Y'all have a good y'all have a good day. Talk to you later.